Being on an island can be both a great and horrible time. There's one side when it's a great getaway, but on the other side, you're literally away from everything, meaning there's nowhere else to go if there's trouble that strikes. From islands possessed with thousands of dolls to islands that should never ever be visited, here are your top 10 haunted island stories that are true. I'm your host Andrew, and let's get right into it. At the number 10 spot, we have the Island of the Dolls. Nestled between the serene canals of Xochimilco in Mexico lies the Island of the Dolls, a place that has gained a haunting reputation as one of the creepiest destinations in the world. Why, you may ask? Well, because the island is home to hundreds of abandoned dolls, which at first glance may seem eerie, but their presence is actually the result of a sorrowful story. According to the legend, the island is haunted by the spirit of a young girl who died there in mysterious circumstances. Visitors to the island have reported that the dolls' heads and arms move on their own, and their eyes can be seen opening and closing, leading some to believe that the girl's spirit still clings to these dolls. However, the true story behind the dolls is far more touching. Don Julian Santana Barrera, the island's caretaker, stumbled upon the body of a young girl near the canals one day. He then saw a doll floating in the water that he believed belonged to this girl, and in memory of her, he hung the doll from a nearby tree. This was just the beginning, as he began to hang more and more dolls in an attempt to appease her spirit, as well as other entities he believed were present on the island. Sadly, Barrera passed away in 2001, but his legacy lives on as the Island of Dolls has since become a very popular tourist attraction. Number 9. Chiloé Island. This remote island located off the coast of Chile is a place of unmatched natural beauty and breathtaking landscapes. Yet despite its stunning scenery, Chiloé Island remains a largely undiscovered gem, with only a smattering of brave souls venturing there each year. This lack of tourism is not due to its location or weather, but rather its reputation as one of the most haunted places in all of Chile. Long before the Spanish colonized Chiloé Island, it was home to a coven of warlocks known as brujos. These powerful sorcerers lived in these caves, shrouded in secrecy and terrorizing the local townspeople with their dark magic. The brujo rejected Catholicism and instead pledged their allegiance to the devil, undergoing a debaptism ceremony that required them to remain under a waterfall for 40 days. This mystical transformation was said to give the brujos the power to transform into animals, cast powerful curses, and control the elements. The brujos were guarded by local children known as Imbunshu, who sustained themselves on the bodies of the recently deceased brought to them from the local cemetery. The details of this coven only came to light during widespread witch hunts that swept the island in the 1880s. Leading to the capture and execution of many brujos. Despite this, rumors persist to this day of ghostly sightings, strange noises, and ghostly apparitions that haunt Chiloé Island, warning visitors to stay far away from this cursed place. At number 8 spot, we have the Poveglia Island. Poveglia Island, located in Italy's South Lagoon between Venice and Lido, holds a rich and haunting history that dates back to the 5th century. Originally, it was inhabited by locals who were forced onto the small, easily defensible island by invaders. But when the bubonic plague swept through the region in 1348, the island was abandoned and became a dumping ground for anyone who showed symptoms of the illness. As a result, thousands perished on this island, and it remained uninhabited until the 19th century, when a mental institution was built there. Rumors abound about the institution and its infamous doctor who allegedly conducted cruel experiments on the patients and ultimately took his life by jumping from the bell tower. The ghost of the doctor is said to still roam the island, and nearby residents have reported hearing the bell from the tower ringing randomly, which is usually attributed to this doctor. In 2014, the Italian government put Poveglia Island up for auction, further perpetuating its mysterious and its macabre reputation as one of the world's most haunted places. Number 7. The Isle of Wight. The Isle of Wight in England is considered to be one of the most haunted locations globally as per local ghost walk experts. One of the most famous spirits is that of Michael Mori, who was executed here in 1737 for killing his own grandson. His body was left to decompose on Downend Gibbet at Gallows Hill, and it's said that his ghost still roams the area carrying a large axe. The Old Royal National Hospital is also said to be haunted by many of these apparitions. Their tuberculosis patients and their spirits are believed to remain here, and people have reported seeing ghostly figures crying, groaning, while others have spotted ghostly nurses, horses, and other creatures in and around the vent Centaur Botanic Gardens on the island. The Priory Bay Hotel on the island is also said to be haunted by a ghostly young girl who can be seen running down the hallways and crying for her lost dog. Visitors have reported hearing her say, "What have you done with my dog?" as she rushes through the corridors. So all in all, another island you wouldn't want to be stuck on. Number 6, Seguin Island. The Seguin Island Lighthouse is a historic lighthouse located on Seguin Island off the coast of Maine. The lighthouse was built in 1795 and is one of the oldest lighthouses in the United States. With that being said, also considered one of the most haunted lighthouses in the US as well. The lighthouse has a rich history and has been the subject of many stories and legends over the years. One such legend is the ghost of a former lighthouse keeper named Isaac Dunham, who is said to haunt the lighthouse to this day. According to the legend, Dunham drowned in the waters nearby the island after going out on a routine walk. Now his ghost haunts the lighthouse and the waters around it. They say he appears to visitors who walk near the lighthouse or the island, and other times his face will be seen poking out of the water, watching your every move. Another legend associated with Seguin Island is that it is haunted by the ghost of a woman whose husband was killed on the island. The legend says that the woman's ghost can be heard crying and moaning at night, and that her ghostly figure can sometimes be seen wandering the island. In the hump of our list, we have the Long Beach Island. The Long Beach Island in New Jersey has a dark and eerie history, particularly at the site of the Powhatan shipwreck. On April 18, 1854, the passenger ship crashed on the shores of the island, leading to the untimely deaths of all 50 passengers. Edward Jennings, the owner of the health mansion, was tasked with giving the departed a proper burial. However, his reputation was tarnished when the locals believed he had robbed their graves, taking the passengers' valuables before burying them. Despite never facing charges, Jennings became an outcast in the community and his grip on reality slowly slipped away. People claim to have seen him talking to invisible entities and arguing with people who just weren't there. This eventually led to his move to California, where he met his end in a bar fight. The ghosts of the 50 passengers who perished in the Powhatan shipwreck are said to still haunt the island, specifically now known as Surf City Hotel. People have reported seeing ghostly apparitions of the deceased and strange, as well as glowing orbs throughout the area. Some even claim to spot a Union Army soldier missing an arm walking along the beach here. So as with all the other islands on this list, visit with caution. Number 4, Belle Isle's Lady in White. In Detroit, Michigan, there's an island called the Belle Isle. This 982-acre island is used for picnics, hikes, and home of the only marble lighthouse. Other than that, everything else on this island is shrouded in mystery and up for speculation. Legend of the island follows the story of the chief's daughter and a haunting bridge. The chief was concerned that his daughter's beauty would attract vast amounts of suitors. So to combat this, he made a deal with the snake goddess of the island, and the chief asked the goddess to protect his daughter. The goddess would agree, but not for nothing. She would ask for the daughter to live out the rest of her days on the island, never being able to leave it. And to this day, the daughter is still said to walk the island, with many visitors reporting that she would try to lure them into the forest by telling that she is looking for someone and just needs help. She supposedly takes her victims to a nearby bridge where she drowns them. And it's said that if you go to this bridge yourself and honk on your car 3 times, she'll appear right before your eyes. Number 3, the Gray Man. Poveglia Island in South Carolina is a summer resort town that boasts of beautiful beaches, tranquil marshes, historic homes, but beyond its natural beauty, it is also home to the mysterious legend of the Gray Man, who is a figure said to appear on the beach prior to every major hurricane that has struck the island for more than 200 years. According to the locals, seeing the Gray Man is a sign of danger for impending storms. And obviously for hurricanes, as we just mentioned. Eyewitness accounts vary, but most people describe the Gray Man as a figure dressed in all gray clothing. Obviously, they appear on the beach either stepping out of the dunes or waving to boaters from the shore before vanishing without a word. The majority of the sightings have occurred on Poveglia Island, but there's also been reports of sightings in other coastal towns nearby. One of the most famous encounters with the Gray Man took place in 1989, just 2 days before Hurricane Hugo roared ashore. Locals Jim and Clara Moore were taking a walk on the beach when they saw a lone figure walking towards them. As he got closer, Jim raised his hand to say hi, but the figure disappeared right before his eyes. Their home suffered little damage during the storm, and Clara attributes their good fortune to the Gray Man and the Lord. The next time you're on vacation in Poveglia Island, keep an eye out for the Gray Man. And remember, if you see him, it might be wise to heed his warning and just seek shelter. Number 2, Deadman's Island. Deadman Island, located in Stanley Park in Vancouver, Canada, is said to be one of the most haunted islands in North America. The small island has a long and tumultuous history dating back to the 1800s. According to local legend, the island was the site of a fierce battle between northern and southern indigenous nations. The southern nation kidnapped 200 women, children, and elders from the north and held them captive. When 200 young northern warriors traded themselves for the hostages' freedom, they were killed on the spot. And the horrors didn't stop here. The island was later used as a quarantine station during a smallpox outbreak and was the site of a logging dispute in the late 1800s and early 1900s. It is said to be haunted by the many ghosts who have died on this island, and many have reported strange noises and supernatural occurrences since. Despite its haunted reputation, the island is off limits to the public, and honestly wouldn't see a reason why anyone would want to go to an island named Deadman. Number 1. Daksa Island. Chilling tales of the island of the ghosts, also known as Daksa Island, has been passed down through generations in Croatia. The island holds a dark and sinister past, as it was the site of a brutal massacre of 53 men during the Second World War. The men were taken from the SS and rowed out to the island, where they were viciously murdered and left to rot in the sun. For over 5 decades, the island was feared, with locals warning each other to stay away from its shores. Then in 2009, the remains of several adult men were uncovered on the island, leading authorities to believe that the mass grave on Daksa Island held the remains of SS men and sympathizers who were brutally executed during the war. No one really visits these islands, but the select few that have said that they see men dressed in their war uniforms still walking around, looking starved to death, kind of reminiscent of their last days there. Well, these are the top 10 haunted island stories that are true. What did you guys think about this list? Leave a comment down below what you guys thought and some suggestions for some future videos that we can do. I'm your host Andrew, and I hope you guys have a scary day.